Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and yes, today we are on the Norway. Captains, you know already how long I have been waiting for the ship, even to the point of some of my fellow captains saying that it will never happen. Well, it did. So, captains, here it is. Finally, yes, let's go. Sorry, a little excited. So, captains, we got the Norway here, aka the Valdres. And yes, this is a ship that I have been waiting for, and one of the last ships, or the last ship, from one of my favorite pew pew scenes in Star Trek, which is First Contact. Can't believe it took this long, but yes, this was part of the carrier bundle that just dropped today with the Seneca. I just got this actually with my tier 6 ship coupon, and boy oh boy, captains, we just actually used this on the Twitch bridge this night, and I was super excited, happy, and just overjoyed that I finally have this. I know it's not the prettiest ship, but this ship actually holds a lot of sentimental value for me, because for Star Trek Starfleet Command 3, this was one of the starter ships that you had. And yes, finally glad we have it. So now, one thing that I did not know of, and actually Thomas Marone pointed out, the under saucer of the ship here actually is the Defiance skin. Did not know that. But anyways, little tidbit for you. But yes, captains, what we're going to do is take this out, pew pew it. But before we do that, we're of course going to go over the builds, the weapons, the space set, consoles, traits, stations, DOFs, and take it into an Elite Argala and see how it does. And captains, always remember that when we ever do a build here, it is just for fun. So here we go. Yes, so it is the USS Norway, the Valdres Command Strike Wing Escort. So here we go. 4 weapons. All we did here is going to be some sort of kind of theme going on here because of what the ship came with. So as you can see, it is a sort of torpedo heavy build. We're going to be using the photon torpedo launchers Mark 15 crit DM damage 3 with the spread mod. And again, there is a method to my madness, but we have 4 of those, and I just bought these a long time ago off the exchange. With the phaser beam weapon here, because of course in First Contact you actually did see this fire a phaser. So this is what we're using. We're using a prolonged engagement phaser, just because we actually got this from the Phoenix prize pack, and I believe it a very rare or ultra rare token. But we actually got this from the event. You can get this, I should say. But you can tell I'm excited. Captains, can you tell I'm excited? I'm a little excited. But you can get this from the Phoenix prize pack, but we got this as an event. So the space set here, nothing too different. The Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector, which you get from your fleet colony. The Prevailing Innovated Impulse Engines, which you get from your competition rep. The Mycelial Harmonic Matter Antimatter Core. And Tilly's Review Pending Modified Shield, which you can get from your Discovery rep. Now our aft weapons here. We're still going to be using a phaser beam here, but this is going to be a 360 coverage here. The Trilithium Enhanced Omnidirectional Phaser Beam Array. We have got this from the featured episode Nexus. Gives you a chance for some fire cycling haste, so that's not too bad. So 2.5 chance to gain 10% fire cycle haste. And we're going to pair the prolonged phaser with the prolonged engagement photon, which we have engineered to damage times 3. Now the 2-piece here does help us a little bit here. 7.5% recharge time on all our bridge officer abilities. So not too bad. Not too bad. Now we are going to use the experimental weapons that came with this. I still don't know how to say this, but I believe it is Moilnir? Moilnir? the captains on stream tried to sound it out by typing it. I appreciate that, captains. I still can't say it right, but we're using this. And I don't normally use experimental weapons, but we're just going to use it because it came with the ship. You can even tell I didn't even epic it out, and it's going to stay that way. Now, our devices here, we have our Torp Candy, so plus 30% bonus projectile damage for 20 seconds. And we're going to use the Kobayashi Maru Transponder for its buff goodness. Now, our consoles, what we did here, we got the binaural vision circuits for its 26.2% critical severity. We got this from the low-buy store. Ferrofluid hydraulic assembly for its minus 0.5 second shared torpedo recharge time. So we're going to be spitting out as much torpedoes as we can. We got this from the Terran Rep. The Ordnance Accelerator. We're going to use this for our 26.3% projectile weapon and phaser damage for, as you can see, because we're using photons and phasers. So this you can get from your Gamma Rep. Going to give us that plus 26.3%. Now, of course, we're going to use the Dynamic Power Distribution Module, or the DPRM, aka the DPREM. I call it the DPREM. This comes from the Prototype Dreadnought, aka the Atlas, which you can get from your event reward. 11.3 all damage resistance rating, 19% directed energy damage. And for 20 seconds, it's a good oh crap button, plus 40% bonus damage while you're above 80% hull. Then plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, and then 500% hull regen. We are pairing it up with the Point Defense Bombardment Warhead, which comes from any version of the NX. So it's going to give us plus 25% projectile damage and acute 1% critical chance. Now paired with the DPREM, it's going to help us boost our phasers by 33%. So again, we've done this before in the past in some of our past build videos where we try to boost up both by either direct consoles or by console sets. And that's what we have accomplished here, at least with these two phasers. But again, captains, you know that Federation ships usually fire phasers fore and aft, so that's why we are doing it this way. Now, we are going to use the console that came with this, which is the Heavy Pulse Tractor Array. It does give us plus 24.2% bonus damage for tractor beam bridge officer abilities, which we will be using, which you can see later, captains, in the stations. It also gives you a 24.2 Starship exotic particle generator, improves exotic damage. What it does is pull a foe in, push them into another foe for kinetic damage. Sure. We're going to use it because it came with the ship. Why not? Now, we're going to use the Lorca's Custom Fire Controls, or the Lorcator, for its 3.9% critical chance and its 157.5 Starship Shield Pen from your Discovery Rep. Now, we're going to use this again. We've used this in our previous builds before, the Counter Command Multi-Conduit Energy Relay. Now, this comes from the mission Surface Tension. But as you can see there, again, it's going to give us a little bit of phaser damage, 17.2%. But it's also going to give us 34.4% photon projectile weapon damage. Again, we're boosting our photons here. Now, this actually gives as much photon damage almost as a console from the Fleet Spire. So that's why we're using it. Why not? So the last two consoles here, the Vulnerability Locator here for Torpedo for the plus 2% critical chance, plus 34.5% torpedo damage. So two of those. And also, we are going to be using the new pets that came with the ship, which are the Valkyrie Fighter Squadrons. These things are insane. Captains, I lost my ever-loving mind when we went into a Kittimer. I came in to attack the tactical cube, the first tactical cube, with all my torpedo pew-pewness. About 2 seconds in, these fighters came in and just shot torpedo spreads like crazy. It was a sight to behold. So that's kind of what we're going for. Hopefully you see that here. But that's kind of what we're basing all of the sort of spreads on, because these fighters come with torpedo spread, as you can see there. Now, of course, you can upgrade this if you want. You can go to the starbase captains, your fleet starbase, and upgrade these by the ultra rare, I believe they are. But we're going to just use what it came with. Now, for stats wise, this gives us a crit chance of 42.8% and crit severity of 178.2%. Now, captains, keep in mind, my Pendevers is ranked up to 600. Yes, I have 150 points, but as you can tell, I like to do more with less, just to show that you don't really need all the extra DACA. DACA is good, but you don't always necessarily need it, especially just to have fun, which, captains, we already did with this ship. 100% fun. So there is that. Now for our skills, of course, specialization is intelligence officer primary, temporal operative secondary. Our traits is what we did here. Something a little different. A good day to die. Superior projectile training. Self-modulating fire. Kinetic precision. Adaptive offense. Resonating payload modification. Unconventional systems. Terran targeting systems. Intelligent agent attaché. Did I say Terran targeting system? I did. Okay. And the Boimler effect. Now, normally I don't like using pets on ships, and I have done builds before where I just don't even use a pet because that's just not my game style. But again, because of these Valkyries that are now in game, they're really cool. This is why we're using them. But we're going to use traits to kind of help them out. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to use superior area denial. So fire at will, scatter volley, debuff foes, and apply to pets. When activating fire at will or scatter volley, grants fire at will and scatter volley to your hangar pets. Upgrade your energy weapons for 20 seconds to targets hits minus 30 all damage resistance rating for 5 seconds. So I'm going to use that. Decess momentum. ETM or entwine tactical matrices. And this is something I haven't used before. Target that explosion. So torpedoes cause allies to coordinate fire. After activating any torpedo or command bridge officer ability, and this is a command ship, when your next torpedo deals damage, up to 6 nearby allies launch a torpedo at the target, dealing 5,153.5 kinetic damage. So I believe that'll apply to our pets. If not, it sounds good. And we heard Sulu say it, so we're going to use it. Carrier wave shield hacking. One of my favorite traits, because when we activate a tractor beam, shields go offline for 5 seconds. And in that 5 seconds, we fuse as much as we can. And of course, it does actually give tractor beam plus 30% kinetic damage with tractor beam. Space rep. We got our Omega kinetic shearing. Advanced targeting systems. Torpedo pre-fire sequence. Precision. And Tyler's duality. Active space rep. Anti-time entanglement singularity. Biomolecular shield generator. Deploy sensor interference platform. Quantum singularity manipulation. And refracting tetron cascade. Stations, this is kind of what we did. Now again, this is a command and also intel, but we're going to use intel as unconventional systems proc. So viral impulse and ionic turbulence. And then here we have chemosite lace weaponry, torpedo high yield 2. Now the reason why I use this, I've said this before in previous builds, using torpedo high yield 2, you fire 3 torpedoes, and I love that you usually see that in Star Trek on screen, so that's why we're using it. But of course, we're pairing it with, of course, concentrate firepower 3 and call emergency artillery 3. So not only are we on the Norway, we're going to have Defiance help us out. First contact vibes, captains. And of course, we're going to use beam fire at will and cannon scatter volley for our back-to-back torp threads. Emergency power to engines, structural integrity collapse 2, and there's our tractor beam, scramble sensors, and we're going to use delayed overload cascade 3. Why? Because we are going to rock the NPCs that we're going to pew pew. because that will just push them away, and why not? I do actually like this bridge officer ability. So there's the stations. Now we're gonna go to our dopes. Now we go to our dopes. So of course, we have the 2 on ground helping us in space. Neil Falconer will give us increased damage versus the Berg when we fuse them, which we have already. Elder Malikaton, which will give us increased damage versus all. Now, act for our space ones here. We got 3 energy weapons officers. They're going to give us a chance to stack crit severity and crit chance when we fire our energy weapons. And then, of course, 3 projectile weapons officers here. They're going to give us a chance to stack crit severity all across the board when we fire our projectile. So there it is, captains. There's the build. Again, keep in mind, captain, this is just for fun. Our fun pew-pews here that we do for nightly pew-pew shenanigans. But I will just say, I have not had this much fun in a ship in a long while. But again, this has a sort of sentimental value to me. One, of course, it being in my favorite pew-pew scenes in Star Trek, First Contact, but also this being a starter ship in one of my favorite games, Star Trek Starfleet Command. So what we're going to do is go into Elite Argala and see how it does. And yes, we know who's here. We know who is here. Oh, before we do that, Captain, let's go show you these fighters, just cause. Look how many of these are gonna launch. That is insane. Captains, look at these things. Look at these things. Now they're still kind of clipping together, but whatever. When we get to the pew-pews, they don't. But there they are. Again, these are coming from the game Invasion, so hopefully these are a sign of good things to come for us in terms of look at that, getting ships from older games. So again, we're going to go in Elite Argala and see how this does. Delta here.
Ensign, take us out of here. Maximum warp.
Aye, sir.
Engage.
Yes. Captain Picard, Admiral Picard, commandeered the ship, along with Riker. Just saying. Here we go.
Tactical alert. Vessel approaching. Bearing 184, Mark 7.
All hands. Battle stations.
Oh, man. Let's launch our ships here. Wait for our fighters. Oh, captains, this ship is just absolutely insane. We're gonna buff up here. Launch our fighters. And here we go. Yes! So much yes! Take these guys. Look at this! Torpedo pew pews madness. Just boom. Pews. Yes! And we're gonna keep just launching these fighters here. Alright, next group. We'll save our buffs for them.
You have entered an... Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding.
There's that console. And damage. Torp spreads. Look at that. Just they're coming in behind with the torp spreads. Yes. Oh. This is just beautiful.
Separate them and whittle down their numbers.
This is just beautiful. Bye.
We will not go quietly.
So boost up our damage here. Here's another torp spread. Just why not? Let's get up close. Take shields off. Our tractor beam still on cooldown. That's okay. We're still gonna fuse. Oh, look at that. Energy candy. Let's go. There you go. See? Tractor beam. We're gonna fuse as much as we can and boom. Sometimes it's just enough. Just the sound of photons firing makes Triz happy. Makes Triz absolutely happy. And there's our Defiance. First contact vibes. Bye. Oof. We'll do it again. Bye. Oh, captains. You do not know how much my face hurts right now from smiling. These Valkyrie fighters are hilarious. I know they can steal concentrate firepower, but I don't care. Right now, it's just all about the pew-pews. A little bit much visual spam, but meh, it's okay. I'll let it go. Just the sound of the photons firing is hilarious. Use that. Look at that huge tractor beam. It like we pulled it towards us and then literally fired a torp spread at it. That's awesome. All right, last group caps, let's go. Let's just fully buff up here. Yes! So much pews. Get a pair of Defiance to help us out here. Last little bits. Torp spreads. Energy candy. Yes! Okay. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, let's go over here. Sorry, excuse me one sec, sir. Go over here. Take our shelfies. Captains, if you don't know what those are our ship selfies. And let's park over here. And have a wave of fighters follow us. Let's do that right there. Let's have a shot of our Valkyrie fighters, one hovering a little too close to us. There you go. Look how many fighters we have around us. I will say that this having these fighters in game now as this edition is awesome. Huge shout out to Thomas for making it happen. They had to build this from scratch, but that's all they had to do to get these in games, as they had permission. But captains, the main thing for me here was the Norway. Again, a ship that I have been waiting for, and I'm glad we have in game. And again, captains, keep in mind, any of the builds that we do here are always for fun, usually just my fun. Have fun with your builds, because captains, at the end of the day, you are the one at the helm of your ship. So highly recommend you get this ship. Again, I personally did not get the carry bundle. I just got this ship. I used my free tier 6 ship coupon. It was eligible, so I used it. And this will be part of another series that we'll be doing here on the bridge soon. But thought we would get this out because, of course, I've been raving about this ship. So let's get an initial build on this. We're going to do another one, maybe 2 more on this ship. But regardless, I had a lot of fun on this, and I hope you will too, captains. Highly recommended. Captains, there it is. There's the build. Like the video, comment below, let us know if you got the ship, and of course subscribe to the YouTube bridge, and of course we will leave it on this note.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.